What is going on, Internet? Eric Bandel's back again with another e-commerce conversations. Hope all is well on the other side of the Internet. On the other side of the Internet from me, Jeff Deja Vu. Welcome.
I'm glad to be back, Eric. Thanks for having me.
Deja vu in a couple ways. We hit record and then we had some technical issues. So we're doing a little deja vu here. We're doing a little bit of recapping. But who the heck are you? What the heck do you do?
All right. I am Jeff Oxford. I've been doing e-commerce SEO for about 15 years. I used to have my own e-commerce sites, but realized I'm way better at the marketing side than the operations side. So been doing e-commerce SEO, and then this last year with the release of ChatGPT Search or Search GPT, whatever you want to call it, kind of shifting things a bit. Now focusing a lot on AI SEO, and that's been keeping me busy this past year or so.
Yeah, and we were talking about this. I'm going to bring it up again.
Yep.
AI
The acronyms.
SEO. Based on your research, that's what most people are calling it or searching for.
There's a disconnect right now. I feel like business owners and entrepreneurs are calling it AI SEO or AIO. The SEO community, for whatever reason, loves GEO, which stands for Generative Engine Optimization. I've also heard AEO for Answer Engine Optimization or LLMO for Large Language Model Optimization. I think all those are too technical and are not good. I'm a big fan of the AI SEO or just AIO.
Yeah. I hope AIO wins out because it's just easier to say, kind of AI optimization. I don't know. That seems like it makes sense to me.
Agreed.
And then also AI SEO makes sense as something I would search for like ignorantly. It'll be interesting to see which term ends up winning. It's kind of fun being in this time again where, all the rules are being written and all the kind of best practices and things are trying to be figured out. And in fact, I feel like there's a lot of opportunity in that. Before we get like all the way into it, we touched base on this last time. Jeff's been on the podcast a few different times in the past. Really knowledgeable guy. But I feel like at this point, though, is going to be a lot more significant driver to your business than last time you were on the call. We kind of like we're dipping our toe in the water, but I feel like, and what I've seen at Beard Brand is actually we are now getting more customers from AIO than from SEO and from Google.
Yes.
Like to me, Google is pretty much dead, or let me be more particular. Organic ranking, Google is pretty much dead for us.
Yeah, and I know we were talking about this before. Like when you have a premium brand that might cost 2 to 3 times what you can get at Walmart or Amazon, Google doesn't like to rank those types of websites. Premium products typically have a higher bounce rate because only a smaller portion of the market's looking for it. When Google sees that, those people clicking on your site, hitting the back button, clicking somewhere else, no matter how good your SEO is, they're going to push you off page one. So for brands like yours, SEO can be really difficult. With ChatGPT, we're not really seeing that. They don't really care if you're premium or the cheapest one in the category. They're just trying to match the most semantically relevant product with the person's searching for, collecting a whole bunch of sources to kind of augment that. It's a very different process, and I think it really depends. Some brands, Google's still going to drive way more traffic, the lion's share. But for people like you, and I've heard you're not the only one to say that. I've heard from other e-commerce store owners where there's now seeing more traffic and I'd say more conversions from ChatGPT than traditional Google search.
Yeah, the conversion rate, or let me go back, the traffic rate is not notable at all. And we get our data, we do a post-purchase survey where basically we ask people how they first heard about us. So it's not even, the cleanest data. It relies on human memory and interactions. I wonder how many people might actually, search in ChatGPT, get the response, and then they pull up Google and search for your brand that way. So it can be probably pretty challenging to get like really clear attribution. So that being said, like, is ChatGPT the Google of AIO?
ChatGPT is the Google of AIO. So, we work with a bunch of e-commerce sites, so it gives us a lot of data. And I'd say whenever I go to analytics and look at kind of the breakdown of AI referrals, it's usually 90% ChatGPT. Number 2 is, Perplexity, and then Claude, Gemini. It kind of phases out from there. But to your point, it's really hard to capture. With Google, you can tell if it's working where you just go to your analytics, you can see, or at Shopify analytics, you can see the organic search traffic and revenue. It's all right there. The path from ChatGPT search is a little different. They go into ChatGPT, they ask their question, they get their answers. Sometimes they're going to click that link to actually purchase on your website, but a lot of times, to your point, they're going to search that into Google. So instead of showing up as a referral from ChatGPT, most of the time it's showing up as branded search traffic.
Yeah. So what do you do? You know, like there's no analytics on these platforms, right? Like I
Mhm.
can't get like a business
Yep.
account and put a pixel on my chat GPT and or is that coming? Do you know anything about that? Like how do I monitor this and know
But
it's
believe
working?
it or not, you're already kind of further ahead than most people with your post-purchase surveys. So far, that's the best way possible to really see what's working. But to your point, it's kind of little fuzzy data. It doesn't paint the whole picture like analytics would, but unfortunately, it's the best we got right now.
Okay. Do you foresee the companies moving in that direction? Like, are they going to like I know what ChatGPT is integrated in with Shopify now. Like you
Yeah.
can make purchases. Can you make purchases directly from ChatGPT on
So
stores
they
or
announced it. I haven't seen it actually implemented yet, but basically,
okay.
if you're on Shopify, because of the Shopify OpenAI partnership, soon you can check out directly from ChatGPT. And they also expanded it for if your payment processor is Stripe, they give you a toolkit you can use to customize your platform so that way people can purchase your products directly from ChatGPT as well. I haven't heard any talks about them adding any like search console or webmaster tools to give you that kind of data or tracking. Although I bet if they started to take an advertising route and started to run ads and people are running ads, they want to know how well their ads are performing. I could see maybe at that point in time them getting a little heavier with conversion pixels and tracking. But for now, there doesn't seem to be a real incentive for them to do it.
Yeah, I feel like that's going to be such a uh, excuse my language, but like such a brain fuck if you're
Yeah.
searching on ChatGPT for their advice on something and then a like a paid recommendation comes up and be like, hey, you know, your brand is sponsoring this post and they
Yeah.
recommend that you know, like how is that even going to work? Um, I don't know. I would love for this, you know, selfishly speaking, I would love for LLMs to be profitable without advertising. I'd
Yeah.
love for the use case to purely be consumers paying the monthly subscription and getting, you know, neutral, authentic, truth-based information rather than a pay-to-play kind of thing.
Yeah.
Um,
Google's search results, I mean, you gotta scroll down so far now to get past the sponsored stuff. It gets really aggressive. So I'm with you. I like the subscription model for revenue, but who knows? They're doing big investments into AI and data centers, and they're not, they're long ways away from getting an ROI. So, hopefully it stays that way, but you never know. They might get desperate and scale up the monetization a bit.
yeah. Do you have any projections or have any gut feel on how the I mean, it's such a rapidly evolving space right now, but on which platforms are going to end up being the winners, or is it still too early to tell?
I would say if we were to have this conversation in 3 years, I'm going to guess Google's AI mode will be the winner. Right now, ChatGPT again has about 90% of the AI SEO, AI search market share. But if I just look at the path Google's taking with AI mode and also what they're saying publicly. So, AI mode used to start as like a beta labs thing that you could opt into to try out. It did well there, so they moved it out of the beta, and then they have it now where I'm sure you probably see it in your Google. There's that button for AI. You have Google Images, Vocal, Video, and now there's AI mode. You can use that. Just a few weeks ago, they integrated it into the Chrome search bar. So now you can
Mhm.
use AI mode from your Chrome search bar. So you just look at the path that it's kind of getting more and more visible. You also have some top executives at Google saying AI mode's the future. So if AI mode still performs well in their internal testing and as they do data, they find that it's providing a good user experience, that people are staying on the platform longer. If it's not too far fetched that one day when you go to the Google search bar and search something, the default will be AI mode instead of the 10 blue links.
Do is Google search results, is that their number one revenue driver? Are they going to kill off the golden goose?
So it used to be like, okay, I revenue wise, it's actually I think it's like it's pretty. I'd have to double check. I remember I was looking at their financial statement a few quarters ago, and it wasn't the only significant one. It used to be. Google's doing a lot from their cloud. They're getting a lot from YouTube. So there's a lot of it's not as critical as it used to. But if you look at what's contributing to their profit, yes, Google search is their golden goose from like a profit standpoint. So they have to be
Yes.
very careful with that, because if they flip the switch and they make AI mode the default and then their revenues tank, I mean, that's going to be difficult. So I think they're balancing usability and what's best for users with also, revenue and profitability.
Yeah. Have you been using the different LLMs from like a user perspective and notice a difference in the performance? And does that even matter?
So me personally, I, I I find myself still using Google a lot, which surprisingly actually goes with the data. So there's been a lot of studies since we last spoke on like usage of ChatGPT versus traditional search. Surprisingly, we haven't seen any reduction in the amount of searches people are doing in Google. In fact, it's slightly increased. So people are using Google just as much, if not more. But we're also seeing more usage of ChatGPT. So it doesn't seem like ChatGPT is cutting into Google's market share yet. And from all the data we have available, ChatGPT has maybe 1, maybe 2% of the search market share. To put that in perspective, there's more, I think I saw something, there's more searches happening in DuckDuckGo than there is ChatGPT. And this is for like navigational searches, not just like, write me an essay or do my homework for me. But for actual searching for
Yeah.
information, it does seem Google still has the lion's share of the market share.
Now, let's get into the weeds a little bit. How
Yeah.
do I get Beard Brand ranking in ChatGPT? Or is it Gemini? What do they call it over at Google?
Google has their AI mode. ChatGPT has the traditional just GPT search with pulling in search results. They all have the same core technology, which is a large language model. So I give the analogy of with traditional SEO and Google. Whatever you do for Google is going to help your Bing rankings. But you want to focus on Google primarily because that has the biggest market share. So we take the same approach with AI SEO. Right now, ChatGPT has the biggest market share, so focus your efforts there. But whatever you do for ChatGPT is also going to help on AI mode, Perplexity, Claude, Gemini, those other places. So just like with SEO, it always starts with keyword research. Same thing is true for AI SEO. You're going to start with prompt research. So for you, you sell beard oil. Chances are you probably people are going to search, what's the best beard oil? Where to buy beard oil? There's a lot of different philosophies on prompt research. Our philosophy is you should only focus on prompts that could be mapped to a high search volume keyword, because just like with SEO, it doesn't make sense to go after keywords no one's searching for. Why would you track prompts and go after prompts unless you know for sure people are searching for it? So using traditional data, keyword data could be helpful for this. Look at your high volume keywords that you've been using for SEO, turn those into a high intent prompt. So, we'd be less concerned about someone searching what is beard oil, because they're probably so far up in the funnel, they're not going to make a purchase. We want transactional prompts. So like, where to buy beard oil, best beard oil, what's the best beard oil, things like that. So now that you've kind of identified the core prompts, that's your starting point. You can start optimizing your website a bit. Few places you want to optimize your website. We'll start with your about page. You want to make sure your about page starts with the first sentence should be a very strong one-line description. Beard brand is a blank for blank. So beard brand is um, provides is the leading provider of beard oil for whatever your core audience is. And then after that, you can talk about your company and your unique selling points or the history. But the first sentence is going to be most critical.
We're going to do this live. We got Jeff on here. Hopefully, we're recording this so you can watch it on YouTube. You can kind of see my screen. We're at
Yep.
beardbrand.com. So you said the about page is going to be the key page to work on. So this
Yeah.
one right here.
Yep.
Now,
So
I don't have the about page in our top header.
that's fine. It doesn't need
Is
to be in the top header.
okay, so that's not a
Yeah.
problem for me. So we go here, we go to my about us. Um, it's
Yeah.
pretty short and sweet. It's more
Uh,
of a storytelling of this video.
And that's fine. Like you guys have a very notable brand with a brand voice. So we don't want to take away from that. But if you can make the very first sentence of your about page say Beard Brand is the leading provider of beard oil. You can wordsmith it a bit, but you need to be very clear of what is Beard Brand. Brand
Sure.
is blank for blank. Like right
So
there.
now when you go to my homepage, I have Beard Brand is a fragrance house disguised as a
Hmm.
beard care company. Like,
Yes.
is that something that would work, or do I need to
I
massage
think
that
that's
and
going
kind
to
of be
confuse large language. It's great from a branding perspective, but it can confuse large language models a bit.
okay? So if they see this on beardbrand.com and then they see my about page,
Yeah,
which
you'd want to try to, if we're just looking at it from the lens of AI SEO, you'd want to have that consistent as possible.
okay, so both of them are consistent. So
Yeah.
that kind of runs into an issue where like this is the story I want to tell
Yes.
for consumers who who can kind of understand that. Would it
It'd
make
be hard.
sense?
It might be hard for ChatGPT to understand, like, what is a fragrance house? And what does it mean for a fragrance house to be disguised as a beard care company? But again,
Mhm.
this is just one of the many signals. So, we don't have to get perfection everywhere. If we want to have a strong brand voice and strong brand identity, you can keep it there. And there's other things you can do on the site to help with your AI SEO.
Okay. So going back, the About Us page is where you need to start, nailing kind of specifically what you're about. And
Mhm.
then before I cut you off, what's next? Where do we go next?
So you got your About Us page, you got that strong description. After that, your category pages. So, if you have a category page here, it's really just having some FAQs that people are going to have about your products. It could be, what materials do you use? Which one should I buy? What's best for me? It's kind of a chance for you to work in unique selling points. So just having like some common FAQs someone might have about beard oil, that would be helpful on the category pages.
Okay, so at Beard Brand, we go here. My category pages are beard, hair, body, and fragrances. Um, so
Yeah.
adding a FAQ section to each of these is going to be the way to go.
And
And
the
then I
reason for
also
that
have
is, yeah,
like a
these large language
catch-all.
models, it's very conversational. You ask a question, it gives you an answer. You ask a question, it gives it an answer. So using that same sort of conversational content seems to be working very well on category pages.
Okay. All right. So update the category pages, including FAQs that dial in kind of common questions that people will be asking.
Exactly. So that's your category pages. Let's go to a product page.
Okay, so
So,
we got our beard oil page pulled up.
yep, perfect. Just like with category pages, you having FAQs can help. So, even 3 to 5 FAQs about the product. I see that you have perfect. You already got that done. So check. You can mark that off the list. Another one is specifications. Do you have like a specifications table on this page somewhere?
Uh,
Ingredients is close. That's pretty good.
yeah, I don't, kind of like features, benefits,
When I
that
think
kind of
I
thing.
mean, it might not apply as much to you, but specifications could be things like, weight, ingredients, which you have. It probably doesn't apply to your product as much, but like if you're selling like shirts, saying like what's the material, what's the size, what's the weight, anything you can, like these large language models eat all that up to really understand your product. And yes, you can have in like a paragraph format, but having like a table seems to work really well with making it easy for these large language models to digest your product information so it knows when to cite it and recommend it for certain prompts.
Okay. Now, that would not, you wouldn't want to do it as like a fixed image, right? So you wouldn't want to create
Correct. Actual
an image of
HTML
it.
table.
So you want to create an HTML table that basically goes into all the features uh, and specifications of ours. So
Right.
we have two sizes, but we also have like a pump. I don't know if we talk anywhere about like the pump of our beard oil and how much it dispenses per pump and like things like that.
Yep. So really there's kind of 4 things that I look for on a product page. We talked about 2 of them, which is number 1, FAQs. Number 2, a detailed specifications table, which could be more or less robust depending on the type of products you're selling. Number 3 is your unique selling points. A lot of people have it in the description, but if you just want to have like a subheading that says like unique features or key features and then just have a few bullet lists, that can help a lot. As large language models go to your product page and digest that information, that's going to be helpful. And then the fourth one is going to be, use cases or who it's for, the target audience. Like, great for, beardsmen, or great for.
Yeah,
This is
people
probably
with
going to be
itchy
better.
beards.
Yeah, if your product has multiple uses, then that's going to be even more critical. So that way, like, if someone sells protein powder, and maybe it uses natural ingredients, and it's great for people that um, it's great for certain people that have like dietary restrictions or whatnot. You'd want to say that in there. So again, four things is FAQs, specifications table, any use cases or target audience, and then key features.
Okay. So like if I go down here, would I add just like use cases? Does that make sense to add?
Is there kind of different audiences you're going after? Or is it pretty much just anyone with a beard?
It's anyone with money and a beard.
Yeah, okay. So for your product, it might not be as critical. It comes into play if people are being more specific with their prompts. For example, if you're selling hair extensions and maybe you have wavy hair extensions, you say, hey, this is great for people with wavy hair, just so large language models can digest that and kind of match your product with the right person. But for this, if there's only one use case or target audience, it's probably not as critical. But
Okay.
you could have
Yeah.
a key features section. Like I see you have subscription details, beard oil. If you have like key features with a few bullets under that, that could be helpful.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, like ours, we market as the beard oil, face oil,
Yep.
pre and post shave oil. So there are like multiple uses for that
Yeah,
on the beard
you could
oil.
talk
But
about that. That would be perfect
okay,
because it has
so
multiple.
you
It's not just beards. It has multiple uses.
right. So we go in, upgrade the product pages with these key informations, and then what's next? Is there anything on
The
platform to do or
Yeah, the last thing kind of on the site itself, or there's a few other things, but blog posts is kind of the last area that you can optimize. There has been some credible studies about why some blog posts get cited by AI search engines like ChatGPT and why some don't. One thing you can do is include quotes from experts, so that some studies have found that just having quotes from experts, it increases your chance of getting cited by about 30%. Including statistics in your content, it has a roughly 27% impact on getting your content cited. Write in simple language so it's easy to understand. If you're writing this high level academic or professional sounding language, it's a little more difficult for large language models to really understand the core message. So simpler language. Wikipedia is probably the best example of this, where it's just very matter of fact, straightforward writing. That's stuff that large language models love. Citing sources in your content can help wherever necessary. So if you're mentioning a statistic, cite the source. And then, interestingly enough, there's a massive factor of recency. So if you have an article that's years old, it's very unlikely it's going to get cited. But if you just update that article and then change the publish date to the day you update it, you're already going to see I can guarantee you'll see a big boost in it being mentioned in ChatGPT. So for whatever reason, ChatGPT is putting a huge preference on recently published content, and it can be gamed very easily, literally just by changing the date of the article published.
okay? You don't have to change anything within the article.
I mean, right now with ChatGPT, it's there's definitely some things that are easy to game. So yes, you could
Okay.
just change the date without changing the article, and you'll still get a benefit from it.
Okay. Will it notice like if I have I've got 1,000 articles. So if I had
Yeah.
1,000 articles that now all have October 20th, 2025, is that going to be an issue or should I
Not for
kind of
ChatGPT, but probably for Google.
okay?
Yeah, and one thing to keep in mind though, there is so the intersection of ChatGPT, we'll say AI search optimization or AI SEO, and traditional search. So when you search for something in ChatGPT, if I went to ChatGPT and said, "What's the best beard oil?" It's going to pull all these results from an index. The jury's still out on whether it's pulling from Google's index or from Bing's index or from somewhere else. That's not 100 fully clear, but we know there's internal search queries that they're going to be doing. And if you're not getting pulled into those queries internally, if you're not getting pulled into the Google index or the Bing index, whatever it's using, you don't even have a chance to show up. So while changing the date can help you get cited in ChatGPT, if you do anything that could catastrophically destroy your traditional SEO, that could hinder your pages getting pulled into these AI search engines, and that could have a negative impact on your AI SEO.
Okay. So update all this stuff, but kind of do it as white hat as you can. So like
Correct.
for instance, I'm on an article, beard oil, beard balm. Maybe updating these images would give it a good reason to update the
Yeah, you could update
article.
images. You could maybe add a few FAQs at the bottom. You could add another subsection. There's a few different things you could do.
Okay. So you update those. Anything else that we're doing on our website to improve AIO?
Last thing I recommend is just anecdotally speaking, I've found that the sites that get cited the most by ChatGPT and get pulled in as a source are the ones that are more kind of hyper focused and narrow, at least for kind of your small to medium tier websites. So if you have some blog posts that are kind of off topic, you're talking about you have a lingering Fourth of July sale from 2018 page, or you have some other blog topics that are kind of a little bit outside your scope, it might be worth taking those down if they're not really serving you anymore. So the more buttoned up and hyper focused your site is, it does seem like that can help your site get cited more often.
Okay. Yeah. Like for instance, with us, we have a section that's basically, March Madness, best. I know we've done stuff like on bolo ties or
Hmm.
cowboy hats and,
Yep.
kind of leather goods, like 5 leather goods every man should own. Like, this is probably not really relevant to the things we're selling. We should kill this.
I mean, I always say first check your analytics, look to see is it driving any traffic or revenue. But if it's not, then probably just kill it.
Okay. The other thing I did, and I don't know if this is relevant anymore. I'm gonna let's see here. Sign into ChatGPT. I made a custom um, ChatGPT. What are these called?
Yeah, custom GPT, or now they're calling it like GPT apps.
Yeah. And what I noticed with this is like the information that I put into this here it is, the custom GPT is were showing up in their results when I was asking them about Beard Brand,
Mm.
or like what's important in beard care and stuff like that. Is that something that you've played around with or saw success from?
I've used these custom GPTs before, but if you want to see like what your customers are searching, I want to get their experience, it's probably best to mimic that as much as possible by doing a new chat. And then you might also see they have like a if you go to the new chat, it'll give you like a private, or I don't know if they call it privacy or incognito. It's the top temporary. See that icon on the
Yeah,
top right? So now ask it. This is gonna be a little bit more unbiased, because otherwise it's gonna factor in all your past searches. So if you've been talking about beard brand a lot in your past prompts, that's gonna influence. It's gonna ChatGPT will personalize it for you, and it's going to influence the outputs for you, but not for me. So doing the temporary chat is the best way to really get a gauge of what your customers are saying.
we're going
That-
in here. We're saying what are the best beard oils? Price is not a consideration,
yeah.
and we're
So right
doing this
now you can
live.
see right there,
So I'm gonna
searching
I'm
for
gonna
premium. It's telling you it's searching for premium beard oil. So chances are you probably want to make sure your site is optimized somewhere for premium beard oils, because we know
mhm.
that that's what ChatGPT is looking for.
Okay, so they've got GQ as a source, Listful as a source when it comes to like what to look
Hmm.
for as a beard oil. It's got Le Labo, high price. It's got Beard Brand
Yep.
Utility Beard Oil. We're number two, Murdoch, Jack Black, Honest Amish. So it's good to see this coming up here. Um,
And this is a good pivot towards sort of the off-page stuff you can do. So if you scroll to the very bottom, you'll see there's that sources. You can expand that. This is going to show you all the sources that ChatGPT used in the answer. So you'll notice off the bat. I mean, for any e-commerce site, you're going to see things like we got Men's Health, 9 best beard oils for men. We have that Esquire, 20 best beard oils. So all these places we know ChatGPT is pulling from. You want to be doing some digital PR and pitching those places to try to get your products included in those lists.
okay, so I mean, some of these are, kind of frustrating or surprising that like they're like competitive brands.
Yeah.
Like here, this brand right here, it's a direct competitor, and they seem to like they're the only non like article or retailer that's listed in here. Like, which
There's
is
a
kind of
few
surprising.
few brands, but they're not as notable.
So it's kind of interesting, there's not like I would kind of expect to see like Dr. Squatch in there or maybe some of the bigger brands in our space. If you're a small brand, you might not have a chance to get in there as well.
It is interesting. It is a bit of a equalizer right now, where with Google, if you're the authority or the 800-pound gorilla, you're gonna be favored. Google's gonna rank you pretty well. You see that to a degree on for some prompts, but right here, it's very clear that it's not always the case.
Cool. What else should I know? Anything? Am I forgetting to ask you anything?
I mean, so we've been focused on page a lot. I guess the biggest thing is just like with SEO, link building is what really moves the needle. We're seeing the same thing with AI SEO, where we don't call it links now; it's called brand mentions or citations. You want to get your brand mentioned on as many places as possible. There's a lot of correlation data that shows just brand mentions on other websites seems to correlate very highly with getting your products mentioned in ChatGPT. So, try to, step one, find as many of these best beard oil articles on the web. Prioritize the ones that are for sure getting cited by ChatGPT, but also just do some searches in Google. Find every one of these articles and try to get your products included. Send them free samples. Give them a affiliate link with generous commissions. Like even if you're breaking even on the affiliate sales, the fact that that's being cited and that can impact chat gpt optimization, it could be worth it, especially if it's difficult to get into, like a Men's Health or a GQ. So that's going to be a lot of it. You could also do some digital PR with content marketing. Think of something interesting that journalists would want to cite. Could be some stats around what percent of Americans have beards. What do women think of men with beards? If you can get statistics like 80% of women find beards attractive, or by state, people in the Midwest find beards more attractive than people in cities. Whatever it could be, like that kind of data and statistics is can be interesting, and that can get picked up by journalists. So getting content that can get cited, that will also help. Another hack, there's this website called Quoted. Eric, have you heard of something called Help a Reporter Out, or Haro?
Yeah, yeah, Haro.
So Haro, it's not as popular as it used to be. There's this new website called Quoted that took its place. It requires a subscription, which kind of filters out a lot of the spam that journalists were getting with Haro. But there's journalists I see all the time on like Forbes and Inc. and Huffington Post and Wall Street Journal, like big top tier publications that are looking for e-commerce store, or that are looking for business owners to comment. How have tariffs impacted your business? How are you using AI? What advice do you have for hiring? There's all these things that pretty much anyone listening to this is an expert on and can submit a quote. And not only can you get a really good brand mention on some of these websites with just a few minutes of writing a short answer, and oftentimes you'll get a backlink that's going to help with your SEO as well. So there is a lot of overlap between the things you do for AI SEO is going to help your traditional SEO. So might as well get the best of both worlds.
Sweet. Quoted is QWOTED for those
Correct.
curious. But as a brand, you have to pay for it?
Yes, I think it's
Okay.
well, you don't have to, but a lot of they'll have some queries that are free and some queries that are paid, and typically the best ones are paid. It's only,
Okay.
I think it's like it might be like $100 a month, but
Okay.
honestly, if you just get one mention on one of these top tier publications, it's going to be well worth it.
Sweet. Where can people hire you, follow you, find you?
Yeah, 180marketing.com. It's my SEO company. Or if you just want to shoot me an email, I'd love to hear from you guys. My email is just jeff@180marketing.com.
That's your AIO company.
It's SEO AI SEO hybrid. So we focus on the overlap between SEO and AI SEO, so you get the best of both worlds.
There you go. Been two birds, one stone, working with Jeff.
That's the goal.
I hope you guys listening enjoy this as much as me. I got a whole to-do list that I got to do after this. So I'm
Awesome.
going to send this podcast to my web developer and my blog team so we can get all this stuff updated and start ranking. Because I do believe that a recommendation from an LLM is going to outperform ranking number one in Google. So if you can consistently, assuming the traffic being the same, all things being the
Yes.
same.
Oh, agreed. Much higher conversion rates.
Yeah. Because there's just this built-in authority to it. in it already. So thanks again, Jeff, for swinging by. It's always good to see your face. Always good to record this. And maybe we'll do another one a year down the road to see how things have changed or evolved, because it is a rapidly evolving thing.
True that.
Cheers.
Well, Eric, always a pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Yep. Keep on growing.